If you love family drama with deep secrets and messy lies, you're in the right place. I'm going to be sharing 6 books by Black authors. We're going to dive in head first to secrets that won't stay buried and a family that's falling apart lie by lie. Let's get into it. My name is Raquel. Welcome and welcome back. So, these 6 books are 5-star books. Number 1, it's called Camilla's Rose. So, Camilla's Rose is by Bernice McFadden. It is a copy of an old book. She brought it back again, a remake, if you will. Um, it is historical fiction. It is about a lady named Camilla. So, Camilla has a history in her family of mental illness, abuse, and cancer. As a child, she watched a lot of family chaos and was traumatized by it. So, in her life, she has been shown how to present as perfect. So, one day, her and her husband are being intimate, and he finds a lump in her breast. And because he finds this lump in her breast, now it is bringing back all of these old memories. And so she's got to sort out her past in order to save her daughter's future. This is a great book. I thought I had read it before, but I guess I didn't because when I read it this time, I was wowed. Bernice McFadden knows how to write historical fiction. So if you have not caught Camilla's Rose, I guarantee you should go out and get it. This is a really good book. It's very deep, and if you are triggered by certain types of abuse, then maybe you should check it out and see if it's your kind of book. All of these are historical fiction, but they are all also 5-star books. Number 2, this is a 3-book series by Mary Monroe. It is set in Alabama in the 1940s. The first book is called Across the Way. Book number 2 is called One House Over, and book number 3 is called Over the Fence. So this is about a poor, impoverished family who goes to live in a upper middle class neighborhood, and they are bootleggers. So what comes with bootleggers? You've got alcohol, uh, loud music, parties, people acting crazy after they've had too much alcohol, fights. And so their next door neighbors really hate them. They do not like them at all. They don't like them, but they are dying to get over to their house. And so the Waltons invite the Hamiltons over. So they finally get a chance to come over. The two couples become friends, but they're not really friends because the Hamiltons actually hate the Waltons. What they love is the free liquor. But what happens is the husband, the Waltons' husband, whose name I think is Odell, he finds out a secret about the Hamiltons' husband. He's living a double life. And once he finds out that secret, he starts to blackmail him. And now that he's blackmailing him, they've exchanged places. So now the Waltons are able to look down on the Hamiltons, and the Hamiltons are just gonna have to suck it up pretty much. But this is a really good series by Mary Monroe. I really love her writing, and this is definitely something you want to read if you are looking for something that does not have any spice in it. There's no spice in this. It is more drama, a little bit of suspense, and it's 3 books. I loved it. Number 3 is Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. And I think this is probably set more in the 80s. And funny enough, I don't think of the 80s as historical fiction, but in some ways it is considered historical fiction because it's not current. Anyway, so Hold You Down is by Tracy Brown. It is about 2 sisters, Mercy and Lennox. So Mercy and Lennox grow up without their mom in their lives. Their mom is absent due to drugs, I believe. And so because they don't have their mom, it makes them like best friend sisters, which I love. I think that's great. And as they grow up, at some point their mother passes away. And this is a part where you find out how they feel about their mother. But she did actually leave them some money. I think she left them like $10,000 and they have to split it. So, one sister who is Mercy, Mercy is very laid back. She goes to work every day. She's sort of like the good girl. She has a son. She takes care of business. She likes to cook and she wants to open a restaurant. Then you have Lennox. Lennox is the party girl. Lennox is always out and about. She's got to be doing something. She likes to wear designer clothes. She likes to get her hair done. And she just really don't have any real direction. She just kind of goes with the flow. She was the first one to have a baby, first one to move out. And so they both have sons. And their sons are best friends, kind of like brothers, more like brothers, less like cousins. That's how close they are. So once they get this money, um, Mercy wants to open a restaurant, but she can't because she doesn't have enough money. But she's trying to work it out. She's trying to figure out how am I going to, open a restaurant. And so her sister says, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do with my money is I'm gonna go out and buy some clothes and some furniture and this kind of stuff or whatever. And so, you could just have my money. And her sister's like, no, no, that's okay. So Lennox goes out and decides to flip her money. She is decided that she's going to date this guy. This guy's been chasing her for a minute. But number one, he didn't have any swag. And most of all, he didn't have any money. So now he's the guy to see. Remember, these are the 80s. Now he's the guy to see. He's got money, and not that he really has any swag, but he has money. So him and Lennox go in together and start this business. And that is the beginning of Lennox and the rest of her family's problem because she's getting into a game that she doesn't know a whole lot about, but she's going to definitely find out. Unfortunately for Lennox, she's going to have to learn the game and she's going to have to get in it quick because this is not, you don't get training. This is like on the job training. You train as you go. And so, yeah, she's going to get her whole family in a predicament and she's got to get out of it some kind of way. So that's number 3. Okay, the next one is a 2-book series by Daniel Black. The first book is called They Tell Me of Home, and the second book is called 12 Gates to the City. So they call me of home. They tell me of home is about this guy named Tommy. Tommy is a child growing up with his family. He has siblings and he loves to go to school. He loves to read. He loves poetry. Once he gets about, I want to say 12 or something like that, he has to go to work in in the family farm. He has to start working because they need him. His teacher is trying to get them to let him continue school, but they actually need him to start working. So once he gets a chance, Tommy runs off and he goes to school. He comes back some years later, like long enough for him to get a couple of degrees. That's how long he's gone. And then something's pulling at him and he decides to come home. When he gets there, his parents are just kind of like act like he just left yesterday. And he asks, like, hey, where's my sister? And his mom is like, well, she's in the back. And so he goes to the back thinking he's about to see his sister. But what he finds is his sister's grave. And he's starting to ask questions like this. He's like, what happened to her? And nobody will tell him what happened. He cannot figure out, like, no matter what he asks his parents, nobody can tell him what happened. So he's around, different people. He grew up here. He goes and he visits his teacher who is ill. She's on her deathbed. And unfortunately, she asked him to take over her teaching job at the school. So when he came, he definitely was not intending to stay. He just wanted to get some answers. But because she's on her deathbed, he doesn't want to tell her no, but he doesn't want the job either. So once she passes on, she leaves him some stuff, and he is able to get the answers to the questions that he has been wanting for years. Everybody knows except for him, and it's really weird. Like, why would you bury your daughter in the backyard? Like, I know they still had cemeteries, even because it's 19. I'm sure they had cemeteries in 1940s. That's just crazy. And then why won't they tell him? Like, why don't they tell what happened to his sister? So it's a really good read. Like I said, there is a part two. Um, I read part two, but I can't remember what happened. But this is about part one. If you read part one, you're gonna want to read part two. And then the next one is Fifth Born by Zelda Lockhart. Now, this one is a very heavy read, and if you are somebody who is triggered, you might want to check this one out. I'm going to read the synopsis for this one. Um, so, at the beginning of the book, they are going on a trip, the whole family. You have the fifth daughter, who is Odessa. And Odessa is picked on by everybody. Everybody picks on Odessa. I don't know why. Well, I do, but I'm not going to tell you. You have to read the book. Anyways, they go on a trip to see Odessa's grandmother. Odessa's grandmother is the only person who loves on her, who cares for her, who talks to her, who, teaches her through her words, even though Odessa doesn't necessarily understand what her grandmother's saying, but her grandmother is imparting wisdom on her. So the synopsis says, when Odessa Blackburn is 3 years old, she sees her grandmother for the last time. And so begins her story as the fifth born of 8 children in a troubled family. Touched by her father, Odessa is also a sole witness to a murder he commits. Okay, so when Odessa Blackburn is 3 years old, she sees her grandmother for the last time, and so begins her story as the fifth born of 8 children in a troubled family. Touched by her father, Odessa is also the sole witness to a unaliving he commits. Uh, Her mother guards both secrets and joins her husband in ostracizing their fifth born from the rest of the siblings. As Odessa grows, so does her troubles. She ultimately separates herself from her parents and her siblings into a new reality that prompts her memory and revelation. Her choices for survival provoke an outcome that will forever alter the carefully maintained lies of her childhood. This is a very heavy book, but I still enjoyed it very much. And then we have The Secrets of Newberry by Victor McLaughlin. I enjoyed this book. What the synopsis says, I don't kind of remember this. What I remember would be considered spoilers. So again, I'm going to read the synopsis for this one. 1950s New Orleans couldn't be sweeter for Ivory Bones Arsenault and Hampton by Note. Friends since meeting at an illegal gambling house outside of Newberry, Louisiana. They indulge themselves with all the fine women, good food, and wild nights they can handle. All seems good in New Orleans, especially for Hampton, who plans to make a clean break from riotous living after falling for the woman of his dreams, classy Magnolia Holiday. But the love of a good woman may not be enough to pull Hampton from the brink of disaster when his pal Bones murder a white city council during a simple robbery gone wrong. Now, the local police and the FBI are hot on their tracks. Hampton and Bones must decide whether friendship is worth losing their freedom or possibly their lives. So, this book goes back and forth in time. Um, I kind of don't remember this part. I see here it says that I uh, bought this book in 2016. So that was quite a while. That's a few hundred books ago. So it's in there. It's just a little mixed up with the rest of the books. But what I remember is his mom eating biscuits and drinking milk or cream or something every morning. She worked very hard. This has dual timelines, like it's like in the 1950s, but it's also in the 1800s as well. His mother is a very hard worker. Um, they, give you a bit of her life, how she worked. Um, I think they're sharecroppers, if I'm not mistaken. They still live on the plantation of where I guess maybe her family before her lived. And this is kind of like what I remember of the book. I do know that this was one of my favorite books for a very long time. Since then, I have read so many other books, even books by Victor McLaughlin. He has another book called Miss Edda's Fast House, which is a really good book as well. Um, but I wanted to share these books because these are really good books if you like family drama, if you like family secrets, if you like to see how people can live their lives in the future and you see how their lives look, but in these books it will show you how that life was shaped based on their childhood or their parents or siblings' childhood. So these are some really, really good books. I totally enjoyed them. I also have not talked about any historical fiction in like maybe about 6 weeks. So I had to, bring out some historical fiction because that is one of my loves, just as well as urban romance. And I hope you guys enjoy these books. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any, if you intend to read any, and which one do you intend to read? Which ones do you think will be good books? Because these are really all very good books. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see you soon.